What is up, everyone? We got another wonderful week of EPL action to go through here with my friend and yours, Mr. Leo Rueda. Leo, with the international break, which sucks all over the place, but we are graciously back in the loving and comforting arms of the English Premier League. How are we feeling?
We back, baby. We back.
We the best. Copyright. Anyway, yes. So I don't know how much international football you watched. I watched a little bit of the USA. They were kind of meh. Yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is. I mean, my love and devotion is the English Premier League with my lovely Evolution of Jordan Henderson shirt to rep my Liverpool boys. Usually you see me in the Liverpool jersey. I went with a wonderful shirt for this matchup. Leo, did you watch any international football?
I watched a little bit of, I watched both Colombia games. I watched a little bit of the USA game. I watched a little bit of the Argentina game.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Which US game? The Panama one or the Costa Rica one?
The Costa Rica one. A little bit of the Panama one, but nothing good. EPL.
There was nothing to watch in the Panama one.
English Premier League is where it's at for now.
Yeah. Yes. Very, very much so. And actually, right off the kick, we're going to talk about internationals and most importantly, what happened in South America, because this weekend kicks off match at Vicarage Road between Watford and Liverpool. And I say why it matters for South America, because Alisson Becker and Fabinho are not playing in this game because they just finished with Brazil. So they're actually flying right to Madrid for their quarantine because Liverpool play Atletico Madrid in the midweek in the Champions League. So because of COVID rules and restrictions, you have to do a 10-day quarantine. So instead of going into England, quarantining, and then missing the Madrid game, they're just flying right to Madrid. So no Fabinho, no Alisson Becker. So that probably means that Queeve Kelleher is going to be in net, and then whatever they do in the midfield is what they do in the midfield. And another international problem is the fact that Curtis Jones went out on U21 duty for England, and he got hurt. And Jurgen Klopp had a great quote on that one, which was, hold please, so I get exactly what he said, because I found it as hilarious. He said, hold, where did he say it? I don't want to get. He basically said, "Oh, Andorra, great." He said, "Oh, Andorra, great. He was needed there. Andorra, they're playing Andorra, and Curtis Jones gets injured in a game against Andorra." So, international break is funky. But going back to the actual play on the field, Liverpool is actually in a little bit of a rough spell. They've, of course, not lost yet this season, but they've drawn in 3 of their last 5 matches. Their somewhat impenetrable defense in the first 5 games has allowed 5 goals in the last 2. 3 to Brentford, which is kind of unexcusable. And then 2 against Man City, which it's Man City, but they've still allowed 5 goals in the last 2 games. I mean, we could talk about what they've been doing on the attacking side all day and how Mo Salah might be the informed player in the world, but I mean, their defense kind of has been a little meh. Watford coming off of a loss as well, right before the break, sitting in 15th on 7 points, 2-1-4. New manager in place. What are some of your thoughts on the game?
It's going to be a boring game. and that's it. It's going to be a wipeout. There's not much to say about it, in my opinion. I know you want to say a lot of things about Liverpool all the time, but in this case, it's going to be a wipeout. I think it's going to be practice, and I'm going to watch it because I like watching Liverpool beat up on these little boys. So it's going to be very good.
You do realize the last time Liverpool went to Vicarage Road, they lost 3-0.
With the momentum they got, I don't think they're going to lose. I think they're fine.
They've drawn their last 2 games. They've drawn their last 2 games. They have a backup
Against
goal.
who?
Brentford and Man City. I know Man City, but they drew at Brentford. Brentford. Look, I'm not going to sit here and try to say that Watford are 08, 09 Barcelona, but new manager bump, Claudio Ranieri. He's played in this league. He's won in this league. They're an attacking team. You have parts of Watford that you like. They got your Colombian boy. They got Sarr. They got pieces that can hit you on the counter. And I mean, I'm struggling very hard to say that this will be a good game, but I don't want to totally discount it. The last time Liverpool went to Vicarage Road with a similar, oh yeah, we'll walk over them. Mind you, the last time Liverpool went to Vicarage Road, they had the EPL record for wins in a row. I believe they had won 19 in a row. 3-0 loss. Smacked them right across the face. We talk about it all the time. It's something that you love about the EPL. Anything can happen. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is going to be a walkover for Liverpool. I wouldn't be shocked if Liverpool still win this, but I don't think it's going to be a walkover. I don't think it's going to be a comfortable margin. If for absolutely nothing else, it's Ranieri's first game. New manager bump.
3-1 Liverpool for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that is the likely outcome. I'm not as comfortable as I should be. It's not a game that I see as a banana peel, but I also didn't see Brentford as a banana peel, but I did because Brentford are, and we'll talk more about Brentford because Brentford have a big game this weekend too. Brentford are a tough team. Watford are not of the same caliber, but they can do some things offensively. And if you aren't top of your game, they'll hit you on counters. That's how they beat Liverpool the last time they played them. Next game, Southampton Leeds. I mean, we go through this a lot of games. As good as the EPL can be, and it's just how the schedule works. There are games that are just not interesting. This game may be one of them. Southampton has shown a lot defensively, and Leeds do have a front foot offensive view, but neither one of them do those things particularly well. Like Leeds want to play offensively, but they don't have the players to do it. And Southampton want to be a resolute defensive team, but they don't have the players to do it. And it's kind of two minds caught up in each other. I mean, Southampton, I don't think they have a win this season. Yeah, no, they don't. They're 0-4-3, and Leeds are 1-3-3. I mean, this might be the toughest watch of the weekend. I mean, looking at the schedule, it probably is the toughest watch of the weekend.
I don't know. I think it's going to be the second best game of the 10 o'clockers. It might even be a more interesting game than Liverpool-Watford because Liverpool is going to walk all over them in my eyes. I think Southampton and Leeds United are fighting for something right now, and that's the relegation battle. They're getting really damn close to the bottom there, and they both have their moments. They both have their spurts where Rafinha will do something, or some of these kids up top for Southampton, which I can't remember right now. It's gonna be messy and it's gonna be slow, or I don't know. I think it's just two bottom-ish of the table teams. They're just trying not to get relegated, and I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to it a lot more than the Norwich and Brighton game, and then the Man City and Burnley game. Those two I think, are going to be the hardest watches. But this one, Southampton Leeds, is going to be probably a banger, because they're teams that need to do something ASAP.
I can hear that perspective, but I also, in that same vein, could see a really cagey 1-1, like not even cagey, like ugly, quite frankly, just an ugly 1-1 that just, or not even, it might even be a 0-0, because both of these teams, and this is something that I harp on, they don't want to lose points in the relegation battle. So it might be, okay, we each got our point, shake hands and move along. I mean, I hate to shit on Norwich and Burnley, and we can't do that to Newcastle anymore, but we'll get back to that. But those are the teams that you want to get 3 of the kind of 14 to 20. The teams that are like at the South, I put Southampton and Leeds in the same bucket. You're okay getting a point, in my opinion. I mean, of course you want to win, but I think both of those teams don't want to lose. Like, one of those teams losing that game, suddenly then that's counting against them in the relegation battle. So that's neither here nor there. I see, like I said, I see a 1-1. 1-1. It is at home for Southampton, I believe. So that's what maybe would put me in Southampton's side. And Southampton has actually played well this year. I know they don't have a win, but they took points off of United. They played very well against Chelsea. They took points off of City. So they have some scalps this year. They have a couple of real lively players. Livermento from Chelsea. They signed Adam Armstrong to take over for Danny Ings. But I still see it as a 1-1. What are your thoughts?
Man, I was originally thinking like a 3-3, 4-3, high scoring game. They have people that can score. They don't have people that can defend that well. I don't know. I think it's going to be a slugfest. I think of just offensive player. These aren't the professional teams that can maintain focus all throughout the game to tie it and to walk away with a point. You know, those are the teams like Liverpool and City and Chelsea, and Manchester United, Leicester. Those are the teams that can, in the 90th, in the 45th, in the 55th minute, they can say, all right, let's just maintain this tie. Let's walk away with a point. But these bottom of the table teams, they're going to come and they're going to do blind swinging. They're going to close their eyes and start swinging as hard as possible and see what happens. And I think that may come out to be, a 4-3, a high scoring game, maybe.
You do know that these teams have scored a combined 12 goals in 14 games this season. A 4-3, hey, look, I'm buying your narrative. I hope it's right.
They're going to play that each team is going to play another shitty team.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess. No. I mean,
how do two people fight when they don't know how to fight?
Yeah, no, they just punch. And hope somebody gets knocked out. I mean, I like your narrative. 4-3 would be fun. I just don't see these two teams as scoring, but I hope you're right. That would at least be fun. Yeah. I don't see it, but I like your logic. I'll tell you your logic.
I see a lot more in this game than I see it in the next game Norwich versus Brighton.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
see 0-0 there. And if I could put -1 to -1, I think this would be a -1 to -1 game. They would lose points.
This,
Both of them.
okay, so I like that you started there, because where we ended in our last podcast was how long would it take for you to believe in Brighton? Did you know that right now, Brighton Football Club have the same record as both Manchester clubs? Both Manchester clubs. They are both 4, or all three, I'm sorry, are 4-2-1. All 4, or all 3 of them. And Everton is also 4-2-1. So, on the love of everything gracious, we need to put some respect on Brighton's name. Manchester City, a lot of people think are the best team in the world. Brighton have the same record as them. The exact same record. Now, again,
After 7 games.
What?
After 7 games.
But it's still the same record. And I know you could very easily then say, okay, they have the same record. Who have Brighton played? And you know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I can't take that away from you for 2 seconds. Brighton, well, I can't even really say Brighton haven't played absolutely nobody. Yeah, they lost to Everton, but they beat a Brentford team that looks really bright. They beat Leicester. They drew against Arsenal. I mean, I know we're not talking about City, Liverpool, Chelsea, United. We're not talking about the top of top teams, but I mean, those are games they show. I don't want to say should have lost, but they weren't favored. They weren't favored against Brentford. They weren't favored against Leicester. They weren't a favorite against Arsenal. They took points from all of them. So
Brighton's season starts next weekend. Brighton's real season starts next weekend when they play City. Weekend after that, they play Liverpool. Weekend after that, they play Newcastle, which by then they're going to have freaking Messi playing for them. So, I mean, they've been playing shitty teams. We'll see.
Is Arsenal a shitty team? I mean, the Arsenal team that they played, that wasn't a shitty Arsenal. That was an Arsenal team that had won 3 in a row. And they drew again. It was a draw, but they drew against an Arsenal team that won 3 in a row.
I still don't buy it. Fuck Brighton.
2-0. Easy. Not even. I don't think any Brighton player breaks a sweat in a 2-0 win.
0.
I think going to where you are, probably boring. I don't think a single Brighton player breaks a sweat in a 2-0 win.
Lego.
Okay. Villa against Wolves.
Villa against Wolves. It's a solid game.
1 second. I got to pause the recording for a second. So here we are. We're talking about Aston Villa and Wolves, the next 10 a.m. game. We've talked about this basically on every podcast. Wolves look like they should be good. I feel like this is the teams that should be good game. Like, I'm big on Aston Villa. And I feel like, if I'm not mistaken, you're very big on Wolves. They aren't the teams that they should be. Am I right saying that you think that Wolves should be really good?
They look good, but they can't score.
Yeah.
My biggest problem with them. I mean, this dude Jimenez has been kind of showing up lately, but man, there's like I was trying to hate on him the other day. You stopped him because of his head injury, but there's got to be something better to score. Adama Traore does everything except score. Is debilitating to watch, man. You just can't keep on watching that type of soccer and expect to have fun watching it. I don't know. I don't like watching them anymore.
My relationship with Adama Traore is done. I need a new best friend.
Yeah.
He's fun. Hey, he's fun to watch though. He is. I mean, If you're absolutely okay with no end product, none, really fun to watch. Just don't expect an assist, don't expect a goal, don't expect a good pass. But man, that Joker can run and he can dribble. Can't do a damn thing else.
I'm seeing a 2-2 here. Aston Villa can put some bloody noses out there in the street. Wolves, like I said, they show up when it's a hard game, and sometimes they'll score a goal. Hopefully we can see Traore finally prove me wrong, but I don't know, man. It's gonna be a boring game on this one, I think.
You say a lot of games are going to be boring. Villa, a little bit higher than Wolves in the table. They have one more point. It's always interesting, and I know we're only 7 games in, but to see where these teams kind of lay, like Villa is a point behind West Ham, who 2 weeks ago, we were whole hog. Oh my God, they could fight for the Champions League. Villa are on the same points as Arsenal. And in the same vein, Wolves, who we're slating, are 1 point behind Villa. Villa, yeah, they had two wins, but those were bookmarked by 2 losses. So a lot of moving and shaking. I mean, in the middle, really right now, the top 13 teams, a lot of movement. And on a week-by-week basis, our opinions on them can change. We really haven't done too much on the top of the table yet. We talked about Liverpool, but we'll talk about the other teams a little later. We've really done a lot in the middle of the table. I just like Villa. I see Villa as a team that should compete. And they're home. I got to back Villa. I got him 2-1. And how about this? We have a special guest for our biggest game of the weekend. The timing for the big game, and we got the big game player for the biggest game of the weekend. Look at this, Preston. You didn't even know it. You're coming in for the biggest game of the weekend. We were just about to break down Leicester City, Man United. Many may say that this is what can save Leicester's entire season. I'm ready to give up on Brendan Rodgers if they don't win this game. United are shaky. This may be the end of Brendan Rodgers. Preston, you came in when I'm running the hottest of hot that I can. Hello, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Z. Morning.
Let's go. We got Leicester City, Man U. This man does not come in when we're talking about Southampton Leeds. He's not here for the boring stuff. He comes right in, big game player for the biggest game on the schedule. Leo, Preston, what are our thoughts on Leicester City, Man United?
I think I picked Leicester actually, but mostly just to be silly because I don't like Man U. That's about the extent of my analysis. What about you, Leo?
I think it's going to be a great game. Probably the best game of the weekend, I think.
You were a Leicester fan at the beginning of the season. Do I remember that right? You were like a Leicester fanboy for some reason. Or
Preston, we need to point it out on every single podcast. Every single podcast. Leo picked Leicester City over Chelsea.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They've been letting me down, but I still believe in Jamie Vardy hard. But now, ever since Cristiano Ronaldo moved over to Manchester United, I think that changed my view on this whole EPL. I think Cristiano Ronaldo is going to kill it. He's been killing it. First game he had 2 goals. He recently had a 2-goal thing in the international break, 2 penalties. They don't call him Penaldo for nothing. But the man gets it done, and he scores goals however he can. He can, however he will. However,
so you're going to give credit to Cristiano Ronaldo scoring 2 penalties.
Are they goals or not?
Penaldos.
Thank you. Okay. Well, what I do want to see is
Oh, I picked Man U. I just had to go back and check my pick. Sorry.
I think Leicester need to win. I think Leicester need to win this game to stay alive. I don't think they will. I see a 2-2 draw. But this is you need to win this game to stay alive. Because they are on very, very tenuous feelings across the board. I mean,
So
I
you
made
think it's going to
fun
be a
of-
draw?
I got a 2-2. Yeah. I made fun of Leo for it, but I also like Leicester too. They are 2-2-3 this season.
14% of people picked draw on the pick'em that I'm in. So
I
that's
don't
not.
care about what the pick'em says. I care
I'm just
about
telling you what other people have picked.
the
14% of
lazy-
people.
Leo,
In that pick'em, is there a score? Do you get to pick a score or just
No.
whoever
Not
wins?
in what I'm doing. I mean, I'm
Oh.
sure that exists, but
What would you say the score is on this one
me?
if you had to pick?
Yeah, it could be 3-0, 3-1, something like that.
I think it's gonna be 4-0. Yeah.
say it with your chest. Jeez. Okay. Say it with your chest. So
Oh, nothing.
if I'm covering this correctly, Leo just murdered the Foxes. Leicester City are dead. Nice. Next game. Leo, you said that Watford Liverpool wasn't a game to watch. This game, Man City should play their U23s. Man City at home against Burnley, it's 7-0. The game wasn't even played yet. It's 7-0. It's a 7-0 game. City won. It's over. Why is Burnley wasting the time to go to Manchester? They're wasting a bus fare to go to Man City. Man City are going to run over them comically.
I think they should withdraw from this game, honestly. They should just say, we'll just catch you next weekend and play the
Yep.
next game.
Preston.
I have nothing to say. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be awful.
It's going to be a bloodbath. Sure. Sean Dyche better have a big bowl of worms for after the game to snack on. He's going to bring out his raspy voice. He's going to talk about how Pep Guardiola has a good team. That's how Sean Dyche talks. He's going to say, Pep Guardiola has a great team. We tried to be aggressive. And they scored 6 on us. What are we going to do?
You sound like Al Pacino.
You sound like the guy that did the Frosty the Snowman cartoon. What's his name?
I am neither Burley Grimes
Michael
nor
Keaton.
Al Pacino.
No,
Booyah!
no.
Okay.
No. What's his name? It'll come
I
to
don't
me.
know.
Carry on.
Anyway, for the next one, we need to make sure that the current team, top of the table, is inoculated, has their venom checked. Because you know what? They might get some bee stings. Chelsea going across London to play Brentford. They better have their bee sting poison monitored because Brentford are ready to play. Brentford are aggressive. Brentford are going to go for it. Brentford have taken points off of both Liverpool and West Ham United in their last 2 games. They're ready to go. And Chelsea, 3-1 win against Southampton, pretty good. But, I mean, Southampton are what they are. Chelsea have looked kind of non-congruent offensively. And Brentford's going to go after teams. I've said on many a podcast and many a message board, Brentford are going to play Brentford football until it gets later in the season and they need to grind out wins. So for Arsenal, for Liverpool, for West Ham, now for Chelsea, even for City, because I think they play City soon too. It's bad that they're playing them early in the season because Brentford's going to play the way Brentford wants to play. And we saw what they've been able to do when they've been able to play that front foot football. Nobody wants to play a team that wants to go after you. Nobody wants to play a team that wants to go after you against a manager who has the balls to just say, fuck it, I want to win. And that's what Brentford do. And that's what they're going to continue to do. And they're going to give Chelsea a lot of problems. They are. I'm very impressed by them.
I feel like it's going to be a boring game. I think that Chelsea's going to walk all over them. It's going to be basically like practice. That's what I think. I think Brentford really hasn't faced a true banger of a team yet.
What?
They played Arsenal last time they played.
They played Arsenal in the first game of the season, Bob.
West Ham, the last game they played, which is trash.
West Ham were in and about the top four most of last season and most of this
West
season.
Ham's not trash, dude.
Liverpool, they played 3-3. That was a surprising thing. Liverpool didn't play great. So that
They put 3 goals on Liverpool.
They put 3 goals on. You can't all say that maybe Brentford played really well. We're just going to say Liverpool laid down and allowed 3.
I mean, Liverpool. How did Liverpool play that game? They played the best game ever, or what?
They didn't play the best game ever, but Brentford came out and played very pragmatically. They played
Brentford didn't just score because
they weren't
Liverpool
scared.
was playing bad. They were playing well too.
Yeah,
It was a combination of things.
Brentford was not scared to play.
You could see a very similar score this weekend, maybe lower scoring.
They played Brighton before that, Aston Villa before that. They're not playing good teams, and this is going to be a true test. This is when they're going to start losing points.
What's Brighton's record?
It's going to be
Preston, you missed this. Brighton have the same record as Man City, as Man United, and as Everton.
Yeah, they're gonna be 5-2-1 after this weekend, and they haven't played anybody. They went 3-3 against Liverpool.
I could have an argument that Brentford's played the toughest schedule this year.
West Ham's
I could
3-2-2.
really argue with you.
West Ham's 3-2-2, and they're gonna beat Everton this weekend. So,
I mean, Brentford have played Arsenal, have played Crystal Palace, have played Villa, have played Brighton, have played Wolves, have played Liverpool, have played West Ham, and now they play Chelsea. That's probably the toughest. Maybe Arsenal have a tougher start to the season. Actually, to be fair, Arsenal did have a tougher start to the season. I'm not going to say maybe, but Brentford probably had the second toughest start to the season, and they've lost.
For the record, you said Brighton's had a tough schedule.
I didn't say Brighton had a tough schedule. I said Brentford had a tough schedule.
You said Brentford has a tough schedule, and that included playing against Arsenal. I just want to keep that on the record.
they're the top half.
Arsenal. A lot of people had Arsenal in 5th or 6th in their open season projections. Game 1, Brentford never played an EPL game before, beat them 2-0. And this is a team that a lot of people thought would be 5th or 6th in a very strong English Premier League. Again, I understand that we have to be skeptical about teams that are coming up. Brentford's a good team. I mean, and we're doing a lot of talk about Brentford. We're not doing a lot of talk about the European champions because there is going to be another team in this game. And I do think that Chelsea are a very good team. And I still think I have Chelsea winning this game.
I hesitated to pick them before the exact reason you mentioned, Zolli, which is their offense. And I told you yesterday, we agree on the state of their offense. It hasn't been firing on all cylinders at all. I don't know how much of that is Tuchel and how much of that is just kind of chemistry with the team. Ever since Lukaku, Lukaku's been kind of weird. Like, I don't know how to put my finger on it. It's just like something's not happening. They're not getting him the ball in scoring position. I think, Leo, you'd said that before. I totally agree with that assessment. But it's just not, it doesn't feel right. I don't know that it's a scheme thing or a coaching thing. It just could be that they're not playing as a team yet. And that could come with time. That kind of thing just sometimes has to come with time. So I think we have a pretty good test actually for them this weekend. You said that it's going to be practice for them. I don't think I agree. And I think the Liverpool game is actually a good testament to that. 3-3 against Liverpool. I think Liverpool and Chelsea are pretty similar teams in terms of talent right now, in terms of how they're playing. Liverpool may be a little better in that game was what it was. I don't want to get you fired up, Z, but
No.
I think they're comparable teams in terms of talent and just
Yeah.
programs overall. So I think you could see a very similar score, something like 2-2, 2-1, either way with this game.
The only reason why I would say that Chelsea would do better in a helter-skelter offensive game than Liverpool did, right now, Chelsea have a better defensive plan. And the best way to demonstrate it would be the 1-1 that Chelsea and Liverpool had at Anfield. Chelsea went down to 10 men in the second half, and they just stopped playing offense. So if Brighton want to play front foot football, swinging at everything, Tuchel will
do the
just say,
same
you know
thing.
what, we're done. We're
Don't
done.
get a goal and then just lock the gates.
And not even get a goal or not get a goal. He may just say, you know what, he may be 15, 20 minutes in and say, this isn't for us.
Yeah.
We don't want to lose. And he honestly might be okay with the 0-0. And he would be okay with the 0-0 because he would look at it and he would say, that's the exact same amount of points as Liverpool got. He would look at it and he would say, that's better than what Arsenal did. That's better than West Ham did. We're good here. We're good here. And that is something Tuchel will do that Klopp wouldn't. And I know the only reason I'm comparing Liverpool and Chelsea is those are the two best teams that Brentford have played. And they're two teams of similar talent. And I'd be interested to see how Man City attack it. And we saw how West Ham attacked it and they lost. I do see Chelsea will take some points. I don't think Brighton will win this game. But I just can't see Brighton not. I'm saying Brighton and I'm thinking Brentford. I can't see Brentford playing poorly in this game. They just don't have anything to lose yet. That's what I'm trying to get at. Later in the season, if some losses mount up, if it gets deeper in the season, if it's congested fixtures around the holiday season, they may lose some of those games because they don't have a deep team. But now, particularly at home, they're tricky. They're a tricky team. So I'm going 1-1. I'm going 1-1. And the only reason I'm going 1-1 is I think Chelsea got a goal, Brentford answer, and Tuchel says enough's enough. Which, if we're going to go back to the Liverpool game, Klopp should have done that when Liverpool took a 2-1 lead. Klopp should have said, you know what? Enough's enough. We're shutting it down. 2-1, I'm good. I'll play 7 at the back. But that's not the way Klopp wants to play. He wants to play progressive football, blah, blah, blah. Tuchel doesn't give two shits and a fuck. 1-1, he'll be like, I'm happy. Good. I'll take my draw. Bye. Nice to know you. He'll play balls over the top and hope Lukaku hits on one. But by and large, he will put 6 guys in front of Mendy and say, I'm good at 1-1. Preston, what is your pick?
Yeah, I mean, I mostly agree. I think it'll be, I think I said either 2-2 or 2-1 for similar reason. I think 2-1 either way is likely.
Okay.
So yeah, but same rationale is what you just said. Yeah, we totally agree.
Leo?
All right. So I think the problem with Chelsea, we're still on Chelsea, right?
Yes.
Or the bees in it.
The problem with Chelsea and the new style, because I sent you guys and we've been talking about a new style of attacking, which is more on the wings, right? And this is what Liverpool has done. I think I first heard it from Zolli, where Trent Alexander-Arnold or whatever, he has like this whole wing attack. And what doesn't make sense in Chelsea, I think, is that Lukaku is more of a center forward, and he wants to lead the attack. When Chelsea, I think, is used to wing play, where they have a Hazard that is dribbling all through the wing and in hopes to get something across the middle. I think Pulisic does something like that too. And even the dude that never scores but always does good plays, German dude, Werner,
Havertz? Werner?
Timo Werner, yeah. So I think that's what doesn't make sense in Chelsea. It's like there's a new style of attacking versus old style of attacking, and they just can't make sense of it. Lukaku wants to be a leader and take over, but the rest of the Chelsea attack is kind of, I don't know. That could be what makes him not score, and what makes Brentford have a decent chance at all of this is the offensive for Chelsea just not making sense, like P said earlier. That's my last thought.
It has the ability to be good. It just hasn't figured itself out yet. I don't think they know what they want to be exactly. And I think it will come with time. I guess I should say, I hope it will come with time, but I don't know. Yeah.
What I will also say, and you will never, I repeat, never see me support Eden Hazard. He didn't just do it from when he was the Eden Hazard, he didn't just do it from the wing, he did it down the middle. So there are different ways to play an offensive game plan. You can play direct through the middle, you can play through the wings. And I think what I've more so said on Chelsea is the problem is Lukaku will come up, try to take a header, knock it down to the wing, and the wingers just don't know what they're doing. So, I mean, and that also could go with the fact that Chelsea have way too many cooks in the kitchen that they never have the same attacking line. Maybe it's Havertz, maybe it's Werner, maybe it's Hudson-Odoi. We got Ziyech in there.
That's what I mean about kind of
Is
chemistry.
Christian Pulisic going to play?
It's like gotten worse since Lukaku because of that.
Because they don't know what they're doing. Because they have, I mean, well, yes and no, because now at least they know Lukaku's there. So they have Lukaku. But now, and maybe this is more so what you're trying to get at, they're saying, we have Lukaku, we need Lukaku to score. Whereas before, it was kind of like they didn't know where the goals were going to come from, and that was helpful. Like they didn't know how they were going to score, so they just kind of said, well, we'll just throw the ball in the zone, and hopefully one of them puts it in the net. Now they say, oh, we got Lukaku, he can score. We need to get the ball to Lukaku, and they just aren't.
They aren't, or teams are defending for it, like they're ready for that strategy.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's actually kind of ironic that Tuchel is seen as such a good offensive coach, and he's played with teams that are on the front foot offensively, but he's been such a good defensive coach at Chelsea. So that's kind of weird. And he probably has more now at Chelsea than he's had probably anywhere. And I even say that with PSG, because where he was with PSG, yeah, you had Neymar and Mbappe, and he had all those players, but they hadn't even really played together. Chelsea, he's got a team that just won the Champions League. You would think that he would be able to put something together with a Champions League winning team. I mean, maybe that goes into Lampard didn't coach him well. Maybe that goes into a lot of coaching turnover. They've never really played as a cohesive unit, but and maybe at the end of the day, it's just easier to do it defensively than offensively. So it's interesting to see. Everton and West Ham is the next game. Now we're into Sunday. Two teams that are in very similar-ish parts of the table. Everton 4-2-1, West Ham 3-2-2. West Ham have lost 2 of the last 3 games after they were kind of flying high. They lost to the aforementioned Brentford before the international break. Everton took a point at Man U, which was a big scalp to keep them in that 3rd place cluster. It's interesting to see how that shakes out. Preston, you got any thoughts?
Yeah, I picked West Ham. This was, I'm just referring to like in this pick'em, I can see percentage of people, like percentage of who picked what, each team to win or a draw. This one I think is the like most even third. It's like almost 33% each, 33% of people picking Everton, West Ham, or a draw. 39% picked Everton, 37 draw. So the smallest odds would be 24% West Ham. I'm just giving them by the numbers. This one
Yeah.
appears to be kind of the most mixed picks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we had talked a little bit about Everton before, and just how they may have overachieved a little bit early based on what we expected. Not that we're professionals, but yeah, I like West Ham here.
You like West?
I do. Yeah.
Um,
Y'all need like a little show.
okay. Leo.
So this is a tricky one. West Ham is rich now, and they're going to start buying players. If we're talking about them today, this Sunday, then they don't look good. Miguel Almiron is probably one of the few
We're
things.
talking about West Ham, not Newcastle, Chief.
Oh, Everton, I've always liked. Jerry Mina is my guy. After yesterday, he tried his best. West Ham is surprising sometimes. I don't know. This is a good one in my eyes. I think it's going to be a good 1-1, 2-2 to watch. Those teams are pretty evenly matched. Yeah, I'm liking it.
I am backing a draw. I can see a 2-2. But I like Preston was getting at, these teams are very, very evenly matched. Everton probably have more to play for. That they're particularly flying high. It's a home game. They want this big time. I think talent-wise, West Ham a little bit better. Being home is going to be the advantage for Everton. I see it as a very I could see a comeback. I could see a comeback in this one. I could see somebody taking a 2-0 lead and then the other team scoring 2. I could see like West Ham. West Ham takes 2-0 lead. Everton gets a draw in the 88th minute and they lose their heads because they got a draw out of it.
I will
That's
say
what-
this too. I was trying to remember why I picked West Ham. I think I did these picks like a few weeks in advance, and I'm pretty sure I went in and picked them shortly after they beat Man U in that 1-0 game. I'm pretty sure that's what I did here. So it was a little bit emotional,
after
maybe
the
based on that
EFL game?
in the EFL in their EFL game. Yeah, I think I was like, yes, West Ham. After that, that's probably what I was trying to remember why I picked them. I think that was the simple take on it.
Okay. And hey, I mean, all it takes is a big win like that. And I don't put a lot of stock into domestic cups because some people play rotated squads and
Yeah, I mean,
just
I don't really either, but
Yeah. it's just good to see.
yeah, sure.
Particularly considering that West Ham played United very competitively in their EPL match, and then of course messed it all up by bringing on a guy to shoot a 96-minute penalty for no apparent reason. Like I said, I got 2-2. Preston, what was your pick?
I don't know. Yeah, let's go 2-0.
I don't know yet. Leo, what was your pick?
I'm gonna switch it now to 2-0 Everton.
Okay.
Opposite of me,
Preston,
yeah.
that 2-0, was that Everton or West Ham?
West Ham, just
West
opposite of Leo.
Okay. Julio. Now we have Tottenham approaching the richest team in the world ever and forever, and nobody will ever be richer than in Newcastle. All kidding aside, that money is not there yet. The team is still in 19th, and they have the players that are in 19th. They have the manager that have played them into 19th. And I think Newcastle are going to get demolished. Tottenham need it. Tottenham need it bad. Tottenham have only scored 6 goals in 7 games this season, which is insane considering they're 4-0-3. I mean, I actually don't know how that's possible to score 6 goals in 7 games and win 4. I mean, that's insane. They have a -4 goal difference. I mean, that's wow. I see 3-1 Tottenham in this game. I don't see much more to talk about. From my perspective, it would be a great game for Harry Kane to get on the score sheet, if for no other reason. Him scoring a brace in this game will do very well for Newcastle to offer him 200 million pounds and another $1.5 million a week. Maybe $1.75 million, maybe $2 million a week. I mean, what's $2 million for oil sheiks? I mean, they get that in ISIS gun deals on a daily basis. What's $2 million a week? So Harry Kane, 2 goals, they win 3-1. Harry Kane goes to Newcastle in January.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tottenham win. I'm not going to make any assertions that or any comments about terrorist organizations in my analysis, but that's about it. I think Tottenham win by a couple of goals.
I'm gonna go with plead the fifth on this one too, and say Tottenham 3-0 against Newcastle.
Oh, you come for soccer breakdowns. You stay
Geopolitical hot takes as well.
Political hot takes. The last game of the weekend, we have Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. Now, a lot of people gave up on Arsenal early. 3 bad losses. They're good teams, but bad losses. But 4 games undefeated. 3 of them are wins. Their draw was against a good Brighton side. As much as people on this podcast may not say that Brighton is good, Brighton is good. So now Arsenal is sitting 11th. I mean, home game against a Crystal Palace team that has shown, I don't want to say no life, but very little life. They're 1-4-2. I mean, they've scored 8 goals and 3 of them were in 1 game. So this may be an opportunity for Arsenal to really come out and say, we're here. We're here. This is what we are now. This is like, if they go 5 games undefeated, 4 of which are wins, you could very quickly and very easily say, you know what? Those 3 games, complete write-off. To start the season, we played 3 tough teams. We went to a Brighton team in their first game. In the Premier League, we played Chelsea. We played United. Nobody's doing well in those 3 games. Judge us by what we did in our next 5, where we won 4 and drew 1. I think that's the narrative we're going for. Leo? Leo is muted.
It doesn't say he is.
Preston? Okay, we
He's
can
lost
actually.
audio.
Leo has lost audio. I guess Leo did not have good takes on this. We'll pause for a moment. So Leo, what were your thoughts on Arsenal?
Oh man, what can I say about Arsenal? Arsenal is going up. Arsenal is improving. Mikel Arteta is gasping for air. from slowly to a slow path of drowning that he was in for the beginning of the season. He has a game against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace has some people that can put the ball in the back of the net. They got shitty defenders, not a great middle, not a great keeper, but I mean, they have a couple of skilled players that can dribble and shoot. And if they're not careful, if they want to fuck around back there, they're going to get scored on easily. So I don't know. I'm not looking forward to this particular game. I think it's going to be a 0-0 to be honest with you. I don't think either team has much, but I think Arsenal has a little bit of momentum, and hopefully they can use that to their advantage.
Preston.
Yeah, I mean, Z, I think you had commented it's kind of a turning point for them, or inability to make a statement. I don't know if a win over Crystal Palace is a statement win, but for them it could be. They're at a point in the season where they kind of need to decide what they're going to be. I was reminded of the Clemson game tonight playing Syracuse. Like, could it be a statement win on the road, kind of an off night? Maybe. So same kind of thing is what I was thinking of. You know, it's like a team that has lost a few games. You know, they historically have been better than they are right now, but they can, with this one, maybe kind of plot a course for a better season than they've had to start. So, yeah, I mean, 1-0 or something like that. I don't think Leo said no goals. I think somebody might score. So 1-0, this seems fine. Yeah.
I say this in the most loving and compassionate way. Clemson didn't play Alabama and Georgia at the beginning of the season.
I know. We'll
You
play
don't have
Georgia
that
though.
excuse. Sorry. Anyway, but yes, what
Don't
I'm
do that
really
to me.
what I'm really trying to get at is Arsenal. Not this game is a turning point, but the cluster of 5 games, Arteta would be able to beat the drum of, look at us, what we did the last 5 games. That's Arsenal, not the 3 games that we lost early. The problem there is the 3 games you lose early, those are the teams you're trying to beat. So you're trying to be those teams. You're trying to be Chelsea. You're trying to be Man City. So if you can't win those games, you can't be in that conversation. That just shows Arsenal is so far off from those teams. It shows, I mean, these 5 games can show they could beat the teams that are in their kind of grade. And of course, the win over Spurs is great, but it kind of more so says Arsenal need to rebuild to being a Conference League team, then a Europa League team. Then we can have a conversation about the top 4. Because the top 4, not in the conversation right now, at least in my opinion. But Arsenal fans would say, look at our last 5 games. That's a top 4 team. So you can kind of counterpoint there and say, yeah, you are, but you also really aren't. So that kind of goes through the whole slate of games. Anything that you guys are particularly watching for this weekend outside of just the results?
I guess it's a good segue from the conversation about Arsenal is a lot of teams are kind of at the point now, you know, this far through the season where you're getting a good picture on what everybody's going to become, you know, and so you've got some games that are turning point games, you know, so ability for teams to decide this is what we're gonna be this season, you know. So that's always a fun, you know, the first few games for me it's fun when the season starts, but you still don't really know who's going to do what. Some of the trades and that sort of stuff is not final at that point. So by now, you know, a lot of the personnel are fairly well defined for the year, and you get a pretty good picture of what people are going to do. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's my takeaway, other than just the general results.
Right, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
In that you look at some of these results, or I'm sorry, some of the forecast for particularly the top teams. Like, we think that Chelsea will have a tough game against Brentford. We think that Liverpool and City should have easy times with their matches. If Chelsea, let's just go top 3. because that's the lowest hanging fruit. If Chelsea come out and whoop Brentford and Liverpool and Man City don't do as well, I don't care what we're talking about with Chelsea. Chelsea look like the favorites. I mean, we could say whatever we want about Chelsea's offense. They have a plus 12 goal difference. If they go and whoop on Brentford, who gave a tough game to Liverpool and then beat West Ham, Chelsea go there and win 3-0, like Brentford weren't even there. We got to have a serious conversation about is this Chelsea's league to lose? And I know that's real kind of hot takey.
No, I get what you're saying though. That's kind of what I was saying. It's like you now are getting to a place where you can see favorites,
Yeah,
a little clearer than just us guessing it based on
right. And again, momentum is as good as your next game. I mean, we're saying Liverpool could look great this week, then they have to play Man U next week, and they could fall flat on their face, and everything we say good about Liverpool this week could mean absolutely nothing after they go to Man U. So momentum is as good as your opponent that week, but you can turn it around. Leo, I will let you wrap it up with your thoughts. What are you looking for this weekend?
I don't think I could have said it better myself. Preston makes good sense there when he says, the next couple of weekends are going to be definitive for the rest of the season. You're going to see what people are made out of. It's a downhill, right? So we're going to see a lot of return or away or home games that, on the other side of the match. So people are going to either double down, or we're going to see a lot of mouths shut on what the first game was like, especially if they beat them in the second round. I think the losers that are on top of the table, Brighton, Brentford, West Ham, I think they are going to show true colors as soon as they start getting challenged by some of these bigger teams. I hope for the EPL sake, which is why I love it, that they do well. And yeah, I mean, we're all, I guess, next couple of weekends are going to be exciting for that reason alone. That's a good point. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, guys, it was fun. Thank you for putting up with some technical difficulties we had. Preston, great for you to join. And
Thanks for having me.
And we will do this again on Monday. Well, Tuesday, I'm sorry, because we have a Monday game. All right.
Oh, I know.
Later.